Hello everybody and bright blessings. Lady Leeanna here with another edition of Wicca for today. And I hope that you'll forgive me. I'm not exactly at my best today. A client of mine brought me in this bit of a lung cold flu thing that I'm trying to get past. And I'm actually only in about my third day of it. So still hitting a little bit hard, but I'm feeling a little bit better right now, so I thought I would try to get this video out to you. As one of your guiders or teachers, I feel it's my responsibility to try to help you put together a plan for tomorrow, and I want to be right there with you, at least in spirit. Likewise, I'm going to be trying to do some of my own stuff if I feel up to it, and I'm going to try to feel up to it no matter what. Okay, but we have the harvest moon coming up, which is the closest full moon to the autumn equinox, Mabon, which just passed on September 21st through 23rd. And the harvest moon will actually be transpiring on September 27th, 28th here in the northern hemisphere. It will be 7:11 p.m. and will end at about 12:14 a.m. So very, very powerful time right then. However, all of the phases of the moon will be revealing itself in one night, on this night. And it happens as soon as the sun drops and the moon starts coming up and setting. It will be all the way through there. That you'll see all the faces and phases of the moon. It's going to be tremendous. But not to mention, and because, or due in part of, there is going to be a super moon at the same time of our harvest moon. And that means that the earth will be passing around the moon on its elliptical orbit closer than what it usually does to the moon. About 14% brighter and 14% closer to the earth it will be on this night. And so a lot of energy will be transmitted to the earth and through the air. Let's see, also it will happen to be a complete lunar eclipse. Okay, now that is amazing. And this particular event has not happened since 1984. And it will not happen again till 2033. So I encourage you and I urge you to take complete advantage of it, because I am going to try my best, no matter how sick I am, to do a lot of magical workings for myself. And I am going to try to be completely well before then, you watch. But you can do any kind of magical working on this night that you would typically do on a particular phase of the moon. You just have to choose your timing right. You have to use this time absolutely perfect, or time the spell work that you're doing perfectly with the time of the night so that you could fit in 2 or 3 different spell works. And I will tell you how. First off, you are looking at a completely light colored moon and a completely dark colored moon. Alright? Which is your feminine side and your masculine side. The feminine being the dark and the masculine being the light. You're also looking at it being your complete light side of yourself versus your complete dark side of yourself that create your gray self that walks among everybody else, trying not to strangle your boss or to give everything you own to charity because you're feeling so good, or or being a doormat for your children. You know, you have to balance out, and your gray self is the composition of the complete light and the complete dark side of yourself. And so to balance those out, you can do that. Or to balance your masculine and feminine side out, you can use this time to do that. And I'll tell you plenty of other things you can do. Alright, I'm going to make me a talisman that is suitable for all purposes: money, betterment within my relationship, friendships, and luck. I mean, I'm going to make one talisman that will suffice for all of this out of a flour, egg, and water composition, and baking it in the oven with all my ingredients on the inside. A moonstone, my birthstone, red pepper for empowerment as well as clarity and purification. Did I say hair from my head? Anyway, hair from my head, some patchouli herb, and maybe High John the Conqueror root, some metal flecks, and then ball it all up, you know. And then after it's in a completely round circle and I've got all the cracks out of the dough or whatever, run some water around it to make it a little more pure, you know, without the cracks. So we don't want it to fall apart on us or anything. And then kind of push it down, flattening it like a perfectly round cookie. And then baking it on a very low heat, not to where it will brown, because you don't want that. And you might want to put a little aluminum over the top of it so that it won't actually brown, okay? But this will make a really, really hard cookie that will be very durable, believe it or not, as long as you don't use self-rising flour, you don't use baking powder, and you don't use baking soda. You know, just flour, water, and egg. Anyway, just write those ingredients down and make you one. Put in some very positive words. Write them down. Burn the words on paper through candlelight of some sort, you know, and give it to the air. And then take and give the ashes to your dough and put that into it. After that, you can take a magic marker or a paintbrush, and you can paint whatever symbol you want to on the very top of it, and then you would clear lacquer it. Now I know that doesn't sound 100% pure, but all of these ingredients actually came from the earth, so you know, and it didn't harm mine whatsoever. It worked really good. So, you know, but I put whatever design I wanted in paint or magic marker on my cookie that I made. And then I completely coated the hell out of it with a clear lacquer, letting it soak all up and into the cookie and everything. You know, and that kind of binds everything together, you know. And it won me $25,000 because I made mine during Hurricane Opal, during the month of my birth, at a time whenever it was approaching the full moon. And I believe I talked about this on one of my other videos. But it was extremely powerful. It made me $25,000 at the casino, and then I left it somewhere. Never to be seen again. I guess it was a one-use thing, but anyway, it worked. It was very powerful, and so I ascribe to that. Use a moonstone, your birthstone, and all the other ingredients that I told you, and make you a talisman. But make sure you do that at kind of a generic time period, because you want to also be able to fit in like 3 major spell works, you know. Do this talisman like at, say, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. while it's still daytime, you know, but you know that full moon energy is still out there as well as all the other influences. But then use the 3 faces of the goddess, which is coming by the full, complete big bright moon, then the completely overshadowed moon, and then the big bright moon again. You know, also the symbology here is life, death, and rebirth, okay? Or the beginning of time and man, you know. I mean, you've got so many powerful connotations here that you can use, so many different symbologies that you can use here. In actuality, with the you know, the shadow of the earth appearing on the moon's face and then disappearing off of it slowly, you'll actually see all the phases of the moon if you look hard enough. You know, not to mention the blood moon. And here's what you do. Alright, at the beginning, when the earth has not started showing its shadow over the face of the moon yet, you want to do any works to do with gardening and harvesting, animal fertility, providing for your family type stuff within your farming and gardening stuff. Any of your prosperity spell works to do with growing money within your households or having anything in abundance. You know, educational balance within yourself, within your mind. Doing good within school and victorizing within your graduation or throughout your years to go within education, elevating and growing. Prosperity and success within reaching your business goals if you're trying to create a business, or maybe you're in a business and it's sagging, bringing it up. You know, use the beginning of the moon for that, the earliest part of the full moon before the shadow of the earth starts showing itself. You want to use that light beginning moon for that, as well as fertility spells if you and your wife or you and your husband are trying to have a baby. Use that moon for that, you know. For self-empowerment, use that moon for that. But also, bear in mind that you have the complete light side of the moon here and the complete dark side of the moon here, which are a showing of masculine and feminine energies, and trying to balance out within yourself, within your masculine and feminine aspects. You know, also you have your complete light side and your complete dark side that form your gray self that walks around in your daily life that needs stability so that you don't jump across that desk and kill your boss, or give everything that you own away to charity because you're so good within your heart. There's got to be a balance here. And you would use the light side and the dark sides of the moon to balance yourself out in that way. Or maybe you've got a child that's attention deficit or bipolar, or maybe you are. And you could use this to help balance yourself out. But these are the things that are good for your light moon that happens before the earth starts making its appearance on the face of the moon. Now, while the moon is beginning to be covered and while it's in its darkest mode, you would use that moon there for everything to do with cloaking and veiling and hiding things that you don't want people to know about, or if people are spying in on you and you don't like it, to blind them from seeing you again. Or if somebody's trying to cast dark magic on you, binding a witch's power implicitly so that she won't be a harm to you or to herself or to anyone again. This would be a good time to do that kind of spell work, which is a rarity. If you have an incurable illness, focus on that being eaten away by the darkness and fading away into nothing, healing yourself in that case. If there are any bad habits that are instilled in you or in your mate, and you want to see that go, you want to see it dissolve or fade away from yourself or this person, or from anyone for that matter, you do spell works for your cigarette smoking to quit, your weight loss, or if you have pimples and blemishes on your face, for those to fade and be gone. If there are any ugly things that bother you within your appearance or whatever, if that's how you feel about it, you know, use this moon and its coverage to fade away things that are unsightly or unwanted, and that including exes that want to impose on your life and shouldn't, or stalkers that are trying to propound your life. You know, fading from mind through space and time. Use a black candle, by the way, while you're saying or chanting this. Fade from mind through space and time. Either let me be faded from their mind through space and time, or let them be faded from my mind through space and time, depending on whether you're trying to get them not to see you or you're trying not to see them anymore. It depends on how you word it or how you go about it. But be creative. Be creative. When the Earth's shadow is peeling off of the moon, it's a particularly good time to concentrate on, if you didn't get to concentrate on ill health dissolving inside of you while the face of the moon was covered by the Earth's shadow, then it would be a good time to concentrate on that. Things slowly going away from you, dissolving, you know, bad health, bad habits, stuff like that. Bad debt. Now, I know that you concentrated on the earliest moon, on the harvest and money coming up, fertility of everything, and all of that. But what about the debts that are already there upon you, or the debt collectors that are hounding you and stalking you? It's a good time to focus on them going away and dissolving, you know. But more than anything, you should focus on that which is to be seen, being seen by that one that needs it. Like if you're trying to talk to a relative that don't understand you on certain aspects of your life, or things of that nature, or somebody just don't want to hear what you've got to say on a usual basis, to open their hearing or open their eyes, to make seen the things that aren't being seen, to bring to light that which is to be understood by those that you care about but refuse to open up. Opening, psychically seeing. If you're trying to get better within the realm of the psyche, opening up your third eye. While the Earth's shadow is peeling off of the moon's face, this is the time to work on this stuff. If somebody's physically, literally going deaf or is deaf, to open up their ears, their hearing, or to open up their eyes if their eyes are going bad, or if they're blind, you know, for the person's other senses to awaken and become predominant, if not to heal them altogether of their sight problems. You know, this is what you should focus on through the 3 phases of the moon that is coming. It's going to be powerful, and I highly suggest that you give it your all. You know, get you a harvest money, productivity, put food on your table spell together for the very beginning of the night. Do a spell work to blind that one that's spying on you and shouldn't be, or watching over you too closely, or stalking you, or watching over you through psychic readings in a dark and negative way, or a witch that's casting on you, binding her powers. Do that on the dark face of the moon. And then at the end, when the shadow is peeling off of the moon, concentrate on making the blind to see, both physically and emotionally, spiritually, whatever way you want to call it, logically. Making that one that don't want to understand, making one that's physically blind or their eyes are going bad to open up and see better, or to open their understanding if they're not wanting to get it, if you're trying to tell them something or show them something. These are the things you can do. Make a talisman at any and all points during this moon time. A talisman to carry with you that is to empower you in all areas. Put together out of some clay and then fire it in your oven, you know, but include in it a moonstone. Maybe a dark moonstone, a light moonstone, and an extremely light moonstone, you know, and then your birthstone on top of that, a few flecks of metal, you know, to help it conduct or be conducive. A magnet is very good and stuff like this. I use it because it draws, okay? A little magnet. Hair from your head. Make sure it's well tucked into the dough if you're gonna, you know, dough or clay or whatever it is you're putting it in. Anyway, you know, thought I would shoot this out to you because it is a very powerful moon and you definitely need to take advantage of it, okay? Bright blessings, and you take care of yourself.